Don't worry about it. Okay. I should be live right now. If you're here, thanks for coming. Thanks for being early. I'm just going to make sure I have the stream running on the other computer. I'm going to make sure that it's up and running and you can hear the audio and everything. I'll be right back. Yeah. Oh, glad I wore the suit for this one. We'll wait just a few minutes. Let everybody come in. I hope this format works for everybody. YouTube is a little more, the stream is more stable as opposed to doing a Zoom call. Although it would be nice to have chats and be able to interact with you guys. Hear people not laugh when I make bad jokes, but this is the more stable stream. And unfortunately, comments can't be on because since it's an open link, that could be taken advantage of. So, yeah. Now we just wait. How's the audio? Can you hear my voice pretty clearly?
There's just a lag.
Okay. But like the voice is clear from here?
I'll triple check.
She's gonna triple check.
Okay, keep talking.
I'm gonna continue talking to test the mic level. I'm continuing to test the mic level. But Mrs. Arnold.
Yeah, it's lag is more like 10 seconds.
The lag is more like 10 seconds. But the audio is clear, so we're gonna take that as a W. I'm gonna start at 6:32. So you have 3 more minutes of me stalling. A dad joke, you say? You have my phone?
No.
It's on the charger over there. Can you pass it to me?
Do I have your phone?
Yeah, I don't know why you would have my phone. I'm an old man anyway. Are you getting on my stream on every device possible to artificially inflate the view count? Thank you, Heidi, for that. You're absolutely right. All right, a dad joke. Fine. All right, this is the one he sent to me today. He still sends me one every single day. Actually, it's like 1.2 per day on average. What did the math book say to its therapist? Oh, I've got a lot of problems. That's what it says. That's what it says. Why did the broom get fired? He was sweeping on the job. I took a nap during a prep once. It was a terrible idea. Exhausted all day. Not help with the grumpiness. Heidi, what are you asking of me? Can you elaborate in your text message? It just says please. After that, we'll get started. 6:31. Oh, dad jokes. Okay, good. All right, so I delivered already. I'll give one more. My wife is trying to get my mother-in-law on the stream. Obviously. Why did the cat run away from the tree? Because of its bark. Cool. Can't end on that one. That's terrible. Why are kitchens good at math? They have a lot of counters. Yeah, I'm done with these. Getting tired of that. There is a little bit of a delay, Heidi. You're right.
I can only hear you.
Well, I'm about to start.
Oh, he's about to
Would
start.
your mom like to ask me something?
She says your tie looks nice.
Oh. Thank you, Carrie. I went with the orange today. Figured it would be more flattering on the camera, so that's what we went with. Thank you for coming. I really wish this was in person. This format is not great for me, but here we are. We have it all up and running. If there are any issues, Heidi, you are in charge of texting me or calling me if the stream crashes or something and I don't notice. Here we go. This slideshow is going to include some picks from the year, some senior wills, a couple memes, some OG picks, and well wishes for seniors. Before I go too far, thank you to Emily Lind for putting all the good parts of this slideshow together. You'll notice very quickly when the quality drops a lot that that's the portion I worked on. I'm now going to go through each picture and just kind of tell you a little bit about them. But never before on these have we included anything about graduation, and so we never see any pictures for graduation. So this is our 2019 graduation. Some great pictures. My personal favorite is Bryson in the bottom right. It was a very hot day, and Bryson refused to give up any songs, and so he got a little bit hot. I sent him that in the summer, and he thought it was funny, so I figured it'd be okay to include. Great picture of the saxophones there. This was a tour that me and Elena Sharp and Paula Chavarin went on. We carpooled down, or not carpooled, we caravan down to Eugene. We set up a tour, and we got to see a whole bunch of different buildings. We drove by the music school. Unfortunately, weren't able to get in, but learned a lot about the campus, got to see what campus life was like, learned about the admissions process, and that was a really good time. Notice on the left, my wife actually used to be an ambassador, so essentially a tour leader, and so I knew that the shirt I had would match the shirt he had, and there we are. There's our wonderful picture. It was a great time. This was movie night. We wanted to do some bonding, especially since we split into two bands. I wanted to make sure the freshmen and the older kids really felt like they could mingle, and so everybody chipped in a little bit. We got some dominoes, and we watched Robots, I think it's called. They're gonna grill me for not knowing the name of that, but good movie about robots. Took some flash pictures, and Izzy is rocking on there. These are just a few snapshots from a few pep band games for football. There's some of my favorite memories of playing in band, or not playing in band, but being in the band. Leading the band is football pep band, because I love football, and you guys get to go all crazy, and yeah, some good shots in there. Some of you might not know that every year the band and the choir team up and play for the Veterans Assembly, I believe the day before Veterans Day, and we perform a medley of all the armed forces songs. And a ton of members of the community come out, the school is there, and it's a really fun concert, and it's good to be able to do something for the community and honor our veterans in that way. This is usually our first performance at the high school band, other than pep band, I think, 100%. Mrs. Arnold.
He's supposed to be able to.
Oh my goodness, you guys, I ruined it. Why didn't you tell me that any sooner?
I was thinking.
No, that's my fault. Okay, very quickly, I'm just gonna go back to these pictures so you can actually see them. You don't want to just see me talk the whole time. Okay, here's a few pictures of graduation. That's so embarrassing. I'm glad you said something. Here you can actually see the pictures. I forgot to make me smaller in OBS. And we'll go forward. And here's some pictures from the visit. Welcome to pause and look at these longer if you'd like. Whenever. Oh, you can see Paulo and Elena down there. Front of the tour group. Movie night. This is probably Heidi telling me that she can't see me. You're covering it. Yep, I know. Thank you. My bad, guys. I'm ruining Emily Lynn's slideshow. Okay, and here's pep band stuff. pink out night. And here's the Veterans Assembly. That's so embarrassing. What a rough start. We understand. Thank you. All right, moving on. So now, all right, everything looks the way it should. In fact, I'm going to make my picture smaller because you guys don't care what I look like. There we go. Itsy bitsy Mr. Arnold down there. Almost every year we go and play at Somerset. I think we got 2 performances this year, one at assisted living and one at the retirement home. It's usually with the jazz band. They were expecting a group of 3 or 4, and so we decided to bring about 20 of us. Really fun trip. They get to miss a few classes, usually go out and eat. So always a good time at Somerset. We also go to Blount International every year, which is a chainsaw company, and we play for their series of holiday lunches. So the jazz band went here, and they paid us, I think, like $300 or something to play for about 45 minutes. And it's always a good performance opportunity for the kids, but also good fundraiser, and it's just a fun time as you. Yeah, can you take this? It's one of my students' dads.
Hi, this is Mrs. Arnold for Mr. Arnold.
I'm just going to keep going, assuming that this is working right. This is our winter concert. I believe it was our only evening concert we got to have this year. But you can see the jazz band, you can see the concert band.
I know we realized a
including
little late.
Mr. Weir is down here playing clarinet with us, which I'm pumped about. That was a good time. And then the symphonic band up there. The band sounded awesome at this concert. I wish we got to have a few more, but hopefully you were able to attend. And if you weren't, you should come to the next one. Here are a few photos from our all-state experience. So the 6 kids here in the bottom left all auditioned for and were accepted into the Oregon All-State Symphonic Band. So they prepared 3 excerpts on their own time, usually over the summer, and recorded them and sent them in, and they were accepted. So this is the most kids we've sent ever. Very proud of these hardworking young people. You can also see some of their friends joined them down in Eugene. And this is just a performance of some random jazz band that performed. But anyway, the All-State Band is part of the Oregon Music Educator Conference. So all the Oregon music educators come together in one zone. There's a ton of honor bands. There's a ton of conferences down in Eugene, Oregon. So props to our kids who auditioned for and were accepted into Oregon All-State Band. Basketball pep. It's a little sweatier and, in my opinion, a little less exciting, but it's still a good time. Also, you get pictures like that of Mr. Darnell. Clarinet sectional. Eric Hansen, one of our senior our only senior clarinet player, came up to me and said, "Mr. Arnold, I want you to open the band room for us on a Saturday so that I can run a sectional." And I said, "Eric, that's a fantastic idea. I don't have to do anything but be there. I'm pumped for it." And then as we approached the date, I realized he chose Super Bowl Sunday during the Super Bowl to have this clarinet sectional. So sacrifice for the team, and we did it. And you can see in the bottom left, we were streaming the game in my office, so we got to watch a little bit of it. Anyway, yeah, good job, clarinets, for putting in the extra time, and it paid off. Lars Campbell is the director of the music programs at CCC, and he every year comes in and works with all of our ensembles. So you'll see him working with our jazz band, our concert band, and our symphonic band. A good 3.5 hours of clinicking that he did entirely for free, just as part of outreach and to make my job a little bit easier. We like working with Lars. Larry Johnson is the horn professor at OSU and is also one of the band directors in the Portland Youth Philharmonic. And so, he comes out as part of outreach for PYP, and also, again, just to make my life easier. And so he worked with the concert band, the symphonic band, and also an 8th grade band. So he's a funny guy. He does a lot of good exercises with them and helps make us a better band. So we enjoy having guests come out and work with us. OMEA 13 District Honor Band. This is a nomination-based process, but it's it's not all of, but it's select kids from different bands in OMEA District 13. So that's Estacada, Malala, Oregon City, Canby, North Clackamas, a few other schools that I can't remember. But we send 5 to 10 kids, and they make this one giant band, and they work with a guest conductor, sometimes from out of state, usually from a university. This is, I think, Pat Vandahay. Oh, I'm spacing on it. I should have looked up his name before we start, but I believe he is the director of bands at PSU. No one's going to fact check me. So this is Pat Vandahay from the PSU School of Music, and those kids had a great time. This picture is not actually from that trip. This is from one of our jazz band trips, because we didn't take a bus here. I don't know how that got in there. That's my bad, not Emily's. This was from our league showcase, so all the schools in the league, so Estacada, Malala, North Marion, Gladstone, and the M1 Madras, all come together, and we perform for each other and receive clinics. This was Danielle Davey. We brought her from Mount Hood Community College to work with each group and give some feedback. So we had a nice educational day, and I was hesitant to include this picture, but it's just too funny to not include. So ladies, if you're mad at me, I'm sorry, but it was too good to leave out. The league showcase. We also hosted this year the League Jazz Festival. So this is a competition, whereas the showcase was just to get feedback. This one was an actual competition with awards. So I thought the jazz band played very well at this. We got, one judge gave us second place and one judge gave us third place, but it's always a lot of fun to see what all of the kids have put together. Had some great solos, had some great performances. Man, this feels like it was ages ago, but anyway, here it is. The CCC Festival. This is where things get a little more exciting. This is our first concert band festival, so the first time the symphonic band competes and goes to a state qualifying event. So we go to CCC, we watch a few bands, we perform our music on stage that's prepared, and we receive scores from 3 judges, as well as not scores, but another judge videos me and gives me feedback on my conducting. After that, we go directly into the sight reading room, where they give us a brand new piece of music that we've never seen before, give us 7 minutes to learn it without playing a note and without me giving the kids any of the notes or rhythms. And then we perform the piece without stopping. Then you receive a score based on how well you perform it. So this is really, in my opinion, one of the better measurements for the quality of a musician is their ability to what we call reading, or their ability to sight read something, play it down without having anyone explain it to them, or without them being able to practice it on their own outside. So we performed very well. So well, in fact, that this one's a little bit of a brag, but the sight reading judge, who loves me because we see him all the time, always says, "I love this kid," when he's talking about me, which is weird because I'm going to be 29 in a few months. But he actually he offered me a job. He said that I could do this because your kids did so well at this. They did so well, in fact, that the student helpers from CCC that were helping him said, "Wow," as soon as we finished playing, and they all started clapping for us after we played. He said we did amazing, and so amazing, in fact, that we got the highest score out of the entire competition, including 5A, 6A schools, and Washington schools, and earned, this is a terrible picture, I'm sorry, but earned a first place sight reading trophy. This is the first time that we've won this trophy. You'll remember last year we tied for first at state in the sight reading room, so winning this trophy was a big one for us. We also did so well on stage, despite my grumpy attitude about our performance on stage, and I will own it right now. There were many kids who thought that we could have qualified, and I said, "No, there's no way we're not going to qualify. We didn't do well enough." Well, we did, actually, and for the first time outside of a league event, we received state qualifying scores. This is pretty rare, especially in March, to qualify for state. In fact, only 4A schools qualified for state before COVID hit, and we are one of those 4 schools. And since we are the only school in our league who qualified for state, I am dubbing us the de facto league champions for the year, and we already had the trophy anyway. So I figure it's ours, and I'm going to sneak it into the trophy case, and no one's going to ask any questions. So Tri-Valley Conference League champions, go Gladstone. A few silly memes. I made this meme back when Yoda was the hotness. So appreciate it, hate it, cringe, whatever you feel like doing, but I feel like it's very fitting. If you look at pictures of me from my first year teaching, the hairline's different, the wrinkles are different, and maybe the wisdom is a little different as well. Anyway, there it is. I did not make these memes. We did a meme project in distance learning. So on the left, anybody who has seen me teach on a good day where there's no upcoming performance, Toy Story is accurate. And then anybody who's seen me teach the week before a competition, Jurassic Park is very accurate. Anyone who's been on a bus ride, especially coming back from an event, Mr. Arnold would like to be calm, maybe have a conversation, maybe listen to music, maybe not listen to Lil Jon and other hip-hop artists from my middle school days. But that's not what I get. The kids in the bus do what the kids in the bus do. So, yeah. Super short story, had to include it. The drawing on the left illustrates a moment where our string bass player, Slater, was skiing. And this poor kid, I imagine it was his first day skiing, cuts in front of Slater, and Slater absolutely annihilates him. If you happen to know Slater well enough, ask him for that video because he had his GoPro on when it happened. I got to see it. Very sad. I believe the kid survived despite the X's on the eyes in the drawing. But anyway, and then that's a picture by Paulo of Slater on the right. Highly accurate. These are two different drawings of me from two different kids. On the right, you'll see a wise, handsome Mr. Arnold. I believe that was drawn by Emily Lynn one day. And I appreciate that drawing. Thank you, Emily. On the left, you see what apparently my 7th graders think of me now. I didn't used to have wrinkles on the forehead or bags under my eyes, but at least I've still got a smile in that picture. There are some fun quits. Hit the whoa or the nay-nay, but never hit the kids. Bones, it's an A natural. I absolutely scream that. Yes, the trumpets were here, and yes, rehearsal has never been better. I didn't say that. I don't get paid enough to clean up blood. That was a legit comment that I had to say in 7th grade band. Distance learning, you'll see Chromebook distribution. Allie made a great meme related to smart music and wrestling. We had a Zoom call. And then I told Emily to take, or told Mrs. Arnold to take a tough looking picture of me while I was illicitly dropping off band instruments to kids. And so that was as good as I can do, toughness wise. I went back, found just a few OG pictures of some of our seniors. I didn't get all of them. I couldn't spend too much time digging through my poorly organized photos. But on the left, you'll see Paulo dressed up as the Baskin-Robbins ice cream cone while we had a car wash fundraiser. A wild Jennifer has appeared. I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure what any of this is, but there you go. Enjoy. Great picture of Hayden, a young Charles, another Jennifer. You got in here twice. There's an Emma, a nice picture of me and Zoe. I believe that's from last year at, oh no, it's not, because that's the shirt I wore in my first year that everybody was mad about. So that was 2 years ago at state when we took 5th. And we have some other seniors and some alumni in this one. A few pictures. All right, now we're gonna watch the senior whale videos. I don't know what warning to give you ahead of this, but the senior wheel, I should tell you what the senior wheels are. Every year the seniors pass down objects or things down to younger members of the band. They usually represent awards for humor, or they represent an inside joke or something, but you'll figure it out. It's a tradition that's been around since before I've been here. And so the kids wanted to keep it going. And so a few of them sent these videos in. Oh.
I'm doing my senior wheels. I never really thought I'd be doing it over the phone, but here we go. For the first thing, it's going to be the can of Febreze that's sitting in the percussion room. I was given that from Victoria last year. It's because someone in the back row smelled really bad. I'm going to give that to Jackson Misley. I think he's the only one responsible enough to have it. And the second thing I have is a box of mini golf balls from Bullwinkle's. They're gonna go to Slater because he's the one who originally took them from the Bullwinkle's pond. So here you go, Slater.
Hi everyone, Zoe here. I'm gonna be wheeling away 2 things, so this won't be long. But the first one is the red chair that the trumpet section has been wheeling away for forever, and it's supposed to go to an upcoming senior. We don't have one this year, so it's gonna be going to an upcoming junior, and that upcoming junior is Emmy. I'm gonna be wheeling it away to you because you're really committed to band, you're a really good trumpet player, and I can tell you really enjoy band. So I know you're gonna take good care of it, and don't sit in it all the way because it hurts your back. Anyway, the next thing is this unicorn statue thing. I just have it. My mom got it for me, and I didn't want to tell her I didn't like it. So I have that. And the reason behind me wheeling it away is because in 6th grade, I was really weird, and I liked my friends calling me Baby Unicorn. And we had the opportunity to put something on the back of our band t-shirt. So I put, let me show you, here. I put Baby Unicorn. I really put that on the back of my shirt. So, since I find that funny, I'm gonna be giving the unicorn statue away to someone that's really funny, and the person that made me laugh most this year, and that was Gabe. So I don't know what you're gonna be able to do with this. I don't know, maybe like show it off to your friends or whatever, put it in your room. But yeah, enjoy it. Just enjoy it. And that's it.
Hi, I'm Alex Delorme. I'm a senior. This is Tango, my goat. I'm doing the senior wills. So I have a few items to senior will. I have the low brass chair. I have my little chicken on my euphonium, and I have an empty bottle of Tabasco sauce. I think that's it. Yeah. So I'm gonna senior will. Okay, this one was actually. So, the little chicken, no, come back here, Tingo. The little chicken that was always on my euphonium, I'm going to senior will that to Trevor. No reason. I just felt like it. Okay. Let's see, what's next? The empty bottle of Tabasco sauce. Don't know how that started. It was just a thing that got passed from a euphonium to a tuba, and then to me. Well, yeah. And I'm going to senior will that to Brayden because it's just random and I don't know why it exists, but yeah, you can have it, Brayden. And I guess that leaves the chair. Okay, the chair was the hardest decision. I kept bouncing back and forth between like so many people. I was like, I don't know who to give it to because, you know, all the low brass people have done phenomenal work. They've improved over the years, and you know, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of all of them. And well, only, you know, really I can only senior will it to one person, and I'm gonna senior will that to Lauren. No reason, no special reason, just cause. Yeah. I think that's it. Oh, I should probably add an item. In my euphonium case, I have a little, like, rubber turtle duck thing. Allie can have that. Allie Grant, you get that. Okay. Say bye, Tango. He doesn't care. Okay, bye.
So, really quick, I just wanted to share the wills that I have, just will those down to the other students. So, first of all is the famous orange stand. So the rules for willing this one down are it's supposed to go from a senior to normally a freshman or sophomore, but that got all switched around this year. So it's supposed to go from a senior to a younger student. And it's supposed to be a student that this senior, in this case me, supposed to be somebody that I like joke around with all the time, somebody that I make fun of a lot, but also somebody that I would consider a friend. So the person I want to will it down to is somebody that I gave a lot of crap for the instrument that they played. And especially in math class with this person, I was always making fun of them. But they got me back with some good zingers that still burn a little bit. So I wanted to will the orange stand down to Mariah. Part of it is also because I think it would be hilarious for her, or hilarious to see her yell at the younger students and the freshmen who don't understand that it's her stand. Um, so yeah, Mariah, it was really fun hanging out with you the few times that we did. I'm still gonna make fun of you for the instrument that you play just because it's super easy to make those jokes. The next will that I have is Henry, the creepy puppet. I drew it because I don't keep him at my house anymore because he disturbs me. So Henry was willed down to me by Emma, and she gave it to me because it scared the crap out of me. And I didn't break it out very often because it scared me so much. So I have no idea who's really scared of it in band. But I wanted to will it down to somebody that I knew would have fun with it. And so I'm going to will Henry down to Jay. It's in one of the lockers in the band room. I'm sure Mr. Arnold has already found it by now. But I wanted to will that down to you because I think you'd have a lot of fun like creeping kids out with that. So there you go, Jay. You get the Henry puppet. I don't know what kind of animal it is. It scares the crap out of me. I didn't take my time to try and figure out what it was. The next will I have is the Tide stain remover pen. So this is supposed to go down to somebody who is supposed to step up as a leader in band. So it's basically always going from a senior to a junior, somebody who's going to be a senior the next year. Somebody who is going to obviously be a section leader for their group. And it does not have to stay in the same section at all. And so it's supposed to be like, use this to clean up the section basically. Don't actually use this, although sniffing can be pretty fun. So I'm going to will this down to Sequoia. Bias aside, I'm not willing it down to her just because she's my girlfriend, but I'm willing it down to her because she also shows, she's a great example of a leader in the band. And I think she's going to be a really important leader for you guys next year. And, I'm willing this down to her for her to clean up the section and clean up the band. And I hope that she can will it down to a future leader as well. Finally, the last thing I have is more of a gift and a will to the entire band. So what I have here is one of those Disneyland sort of sashes that you put pins on. And this was given to me by my older sister after her Disneyland trips with the band because she never ended up using it at all. What? How did that happen? Huh. This thing's really weird. So she didn't end up buying any pins for it at all. And I'm going to find some way to give that to Mr. Arnold. And I want you guys on future Disney trips to buy a bunch of pins and just load them up with that. Buy a new satchel every year, and every year just have that whole group that went just fill it up with pins that you buy. So that way you always have one of these Disney satchels to remember a specific Disney trip by. And so I just think that's a great gift for the band. I don't think it's supposed to go to any one person at all, but I want you guys to have something you can create memories with. I'm really thankful for all the memories that I created with you guys, and that all the time we got to spend together, all the things we did. I was really looking forward to finishing out this year and seeing how we placed. I had some high aspirations set out for myself and for the rest of the band, and unfortunately those will just be left a mystery. But I hope you guys continue to work hard in the future, and I'll see you guys again soon. I'll try and visit next year.
Hey everybody, so I don't really have much to give in senior wills, just like 3 things, but here they are. So the first thing is in something that I have in my possession. It's at the school, and that's my locker that I share with Eric, and it was willed down for me from Mario and Owen Johnson. And then there's nothing really special behind it. It's just kind of like a locker, but it's a good locker. I like it, and I'm going to will it down to Natalie. One just being that she's just a good saxophone player and an all-around good person, and then the second being that kind of got tired of her like kneeling down in her little corner and like trying to get her case out and stuff like that. So yeah, so the locker's all yours. And then the second thing is this egg shaker that Owen Johnson will down to me, and he claims it's lucky, and it might be. I don't know. So yeah, that's it. It's just an egg shaker, and then I'm going to will down to Bryson. Bryson, you're a super cool guy, super nice, good saxophone player, good drummer, and I enjoyed playing with you and messing around in jazz band. And then the last thing that I'm going to be introducing that wasn't will down is going to be this Hawaiian shirt. I'm going to give it down to Sequoia. Not because like we wear like Hawaiian shirts for state, but because went to Blount for jazz band. We played Wipeout, and that really boosted my bass playing ego, which I probably didn't need, but it was just like a good experience and a good memory I had. So yeah, that's it.
All right, I don't know if you can hear me, but this is a very nice mask. I like it a lot. I never worn it. I mean, I've only worn it a couple times, but I was willed this mask, this luchador mask, by Isaac Carrillo my freshman year, and miss that guy. He's awesome. But it's pretty neat. I forget who he got it from, but I'm willing this to Hassan because he's been a homie ever since he got into band, and you know, we just annoy the heck out of Mr. Arnold, and that's great. I love it. Sorry, Mr. Arnold, but you know, it has to be done. But no, this is going to Hassan because he's a wrestler, and I know that he'll enjoy this, and so yeah. And let's see, I got this backpack here from. All right, so the video keeps cutting out and stuff, but I have this backpack here, and it was willed to me by Alex Colbert last year, and it's a really cool backpack. This is going to Jay. Jay, you know what the president is, I'm pretty sure. Use this. Like your junior and senior year, you don't really have many books and stuff like that. I mean, if you do, utilize your locker, but I mean, this was a perfect backpack for me my senior year. So let's see here, and I have some more stuff that I don't have on me, but I'm gonna be willing the folder that I used these last couple of years, I think, to Smalls, because I don't know, this last year, I remember you shadowed me my junior year, and you're pretty funny, and I mean, we hit it off when you were in band this year, and we made some pretty funny memories for Pep and stuff like that. And so yeah, just Arnold has it. You can get it from him, but it has like it's like an Air Force sticker or something. It has like wings on it, and it's whatever. It's really cool. It's not a crappy one. It's held up pretty well. And my last thing that I'm going to will is the Captain America ride symbol shield. I'm willing that to Robbie because your brother willed that to me, and I feel like it's a perfect fit for you. I don't know. We've had really good memories, and I'm gonna miss you, dude. You're pretty chill, and I hope you use the shield more than I did because I kept forgetting it and stuff to bring to the gigs and whatnot. But I mean, like, we didn't really have any this year, but you know, yeah, those are my wills. And I guess I was supposed to say a favorite memory. Oh goodness, I don't know. Probably when. I don't know when it was, but it was during a football game, and Mr. Arnold. I was standing next to Mr. Arnold, and something happened. I think Hudson threw a pick or something like that, which is an interception when the defense catches the ball when the offense throws it. It was a duck. It went rank, and they caught it. And then I'm pretty sure, I think Mr. Arnold and I said the same exact swear word at the same exact time, and we both looked at each other and we were like, it's void. It doesn't matter. So that was pretty funny. But I have more memories, but I don't have enough time. That's just one off the top of my head. And it was a joy being in band for 4 years. And I'm going to miss all of you guys. I'm going to miss you, Mr. Arnold, but don't worry, I'll come back and crash class a few times since I'm going to be at CCC. But thank you to everybody who's made my band experience the way it was. And
All right. So I'm sure those aren't all of the senior wills, but those are at least the ones that I got. So if you have something else you need to will, you can shoot me an email or, yeah, just shoot me an email and I'll make sure that yeah, I did, and make sure that the younger student gets whatever you're trying to pass on. So thank you, seniors, for getting those videos in and for those heartfelt messages. We'll now move on to our individual well wishes for each senior. And I kind of prepared some notes. This is always really hard for me. It's an emotional thing, and it's hard to make sure I say all the right things. And you know, with these kids, we have sometimes 5 years of memories together, so it's hard to pick one. It's hard to pick the best one. So hopefully, I did a good job for you guys. We'll start with Ashton Snowden. He will be attending CCC for 2 years after high school to study music technology, production, and performance. No surprise there. Quote unquote, my favorite band memory would probably have to be all the pep band games and me going off and confusing you with my right foot. That's what he's talking about when he's drumming. If I had to pick a favorite game, it'd be the Cottage Grove playoff game where it was rainy and we outplayed their pep band, and I went off on the drum kit and embarrassed their double kick player with my single kick licks. And then he would also like to hear my favorite memory of me. First, gotta say, the match grip here, very good. Dress, super unprofessional, but he's really off to a good foundation in his drumming. But probably my third favorite part of my job is getting to see baby pics when kids graduate, because this is just outrageously cute. But when Ashton joined us, he joined freshman year, I believe, had not been in band with me at all, and he was only in early bird bands, which meant he only came into the band room once a week in the morning for 45 minutes. I didn't have a ton of confidence. Usually when that situation happens, you don't expect a kid to learn how to read music, learn how to play different instruments, and join in. But he actually showed up. He learned. He worked at home with the stuff that I told him to work on. And very quickly he became a leader and one of our stronger musicians. Anybody who knows Ashton knows that he makes everyone around him better, and that he's friendly. And you heard him talk just a couple minutes ago. He's just a well-liked young man with a good sense of humor. That story about the football game is absolutely right. There are many instances where we made each other laugh, and I really enjoyed getting to hang out with him down at the bottom of the pep band. But my absolute favorite thing about Ashton, I think a good reflection of who he is as a young man, is he mentioned in class annoying Mr. Arnold. And so we'll call them very rare occasions when we had to have a private conversation after class. I would come in heated. I'd come in with my lecture ready, with my guilt trip ready, with my stern tone of voice. And most of the time, before I could even get started, he would interject with an apology, with taking ownership of his actions, making sure, or explaining why it's happening, and explaining how it's going to be better going forward. So even though, yeah, Ashton would blurt out sometimes in class or make jokes, whatever, he always owned his mistakes. And I think what you look for in a young person, you know, tracking are they going to be successful or not, what you look for is not somebody being perfect right from the get-go, but you look for somebody who is going to be better and is going to own when they're not perfect. And so that is just one instance of a good reflection of who Ashton is. So Ashton, will miss you. We were lucky to have you, and congratulations and thank you. We will now clap, and if you at home should also clap for Ashton Snowden. Yay! All right. Allie Schlichtine? I think that's right. I think that's close. Colin, you can send me a text if that's wrong. I will be attending PCC in the fall to get my general studies done, then transfer to PSU. I haven't decided on whether or not I want to be a lawyer or therapist, but one of those will be in my future. Seems like a good fit for you, either one of those. I have two favorite band memories. The first one is when is you were leaving my house and opened a closet and said that's not the front door, and Paulo and I laughed at you. I have to follow up on that one. We were running the burger stand, and at the time, Allie lived with her parents at a house right on the corner of Max Patterson Park, so I used their bathroom and apparently thought a closet was the front door. The second memory was that we were at State, and I said the F word on the stage during the performance on accident, and I told you, me, because I was scared it was going to be loud on the recording, and you said, it's okay. I said a different bad word, and I'm glad that she brought up that story, because it's true. I didn't hear her swear, but I absolutely did when I dropped a beat and gave an incorrect cue at a point at State on stage in the middle of the performance. Luckily, neither one of our colorful words were actually made it onto the recording, and we ended up performing well enough to take, I believe that was our third place performance at State. The language is becoming a theme. I promise I'm usually very professional around your kids. Just a few quick things about Allie you'll see down here. This is a post-it note she just kind of randomly wrote me one time. You'd be surprised how often I just walk into my office to find some sort of positive note or encouraging note, and hers says, don't stress or you'll lose all your hair. You got this. Have a good day. And that really, that wasn't prompted. I don't know if I was having a particularly bad day or if she felt that I needed it, but that's kind of a reflection of who Allie is. We've had a ton of laughs together, especially in the later years, but when she first started here, she was a shyer transfer student, and didn't, speak up too much or anything, but now she absolutely speaks up, and she is very strong. And if anything is not going the way she wants it to go, she will let you know that you are doing something she doesn't want you to be doing. I can speak from personal experience that that's the truth, as I'm sure Paulo can also speak from personal experience that that is the truth. Not only that, but she passes on her skills. This year she's been working with a 6th grade oboe player who I kind of was just like, I have no idea why she sounds like a duck still. Allie, please help. And she's made a ton of progress with that young lady and has been a good influence on her. I wish that I could think of more things to say. I just honestly, you've made me laugh over the years. Thank you for the use of your bathroom, and thank you for everything you've done for the band, for everybody around you, and we sincerely appreciate it. Please come by, say hi, and we wish you luck as a future lawyer or therapist. Allie Schicktein. Charles Hanley. Charles is going to attend Walla Walla University for mechanical engineering. He's probably going to work at Boeing, who knows? And his favorite band memory is arguing with me over football. I love this picture with the bear. Like, what is more wonderful than a baby laughing? And then look at this movie star, okay? What a growth. But anyway, we never had a contrabass clarinet in band until Charles transferred in. I'm not sure if he transferred or he started his freshman year. I can't quite recall, but Charles was the one who really wanted to play contrabass clarinet, which is that like 5-foot tall clarinet. And on a whim, I said, okay, let's go find a contrabass clarinet for you, and brought it in. And that's something that, as long as we can have one in band, we will continue to have one. Excuse me. And that's thanks entirely to Charles and the way he played it and the way that he kind of changed the sound of our bass section with his contrabass clarinet playing. He mentioned arguing with me over football. That's truly the foundation of our relationship, is arguing over football, whether it's college ball, whether it's our football team, or NFL, or fantasy football, or Madden, which is video game football. That was always something we could start up a conversation about. In fact, the first day I met him, he walked in with a Seattle Seahawks jersey, and I gave him a hard time for it, and that was the first of many football interactions to come. In fact, there was one time after graduation, we were all, it's kind of like a pre-graduation band party. We have pizza and soda, and oftentimes we play video games. And I had the wonderful opportunity to take out my frustration playing Charles in Madden. And I will say it publicly here, Charles, that you stomped me, and it hurt me, and I will never forget it. And maybe someday I will get you back for it. But Charles has a good sense of humor. He has business savvy, and I've really enjoyed having him in band. So for everything you've done, Charles, we wish you the best of luck with your mechanical engineering job, and I look forward to investing in whatever stock you want to invest in. So Charles Hanley. Woo! Yay! My wife is helping me clap. Miss Emily Lind, the creator of our slideshow. Not this portion, though. That's why it looks terrible, is because I did this part, and then she did this part. Or the prior parts that actually looked good. Her plans after high school. Quote, I am attending Linfield in the fall, and I'm planning to major in education and minor in psychology. Those are going to be great fields for you, Emily. Her favorite band memories were Disneyland her junior year. And another one is in 8th grade when you made Vinny, Jake, and I play the same song on drums. So we had to switch twice in the middle of it, and it was really awkward and very interesting. That is Emily's polite way of saying that she hated it, and she still remembers and holds a grudge for me making them do that. I kid. But Emily, you're going to be a wonderful leader of our youth. I didn't realize that you're going into education, but it makes perfect sense that that's the field you're going into. Your future kids are going to be lucky to have you. I first met Emily when she was an 8th grader, and right away she was we had 12 kids in that band, so keep that in mind. And she was our only percussionist for most of it. And right away her musicianship and her leadership and her maturity were the things that stuck out about her. And anybody who knows Emily knows those things to be really true. She is a great artist. If you haven't seen her art, the drawing of me earlier, the one that I actually liked, that was hers. But she does more than whiteboard art. She has been a percussion mom for years, and every section would be lucky to have a section mom. But she's always been there to kind of bring up the younger kids, made sure that everybody was getting opportunities to play if they wanted to. Helping kids that need the help, jumping in, solving problems before I even knew about them. And that's just kind of the person that Emily is and has been for the past 5 years that I've known her. And one thing that I really appreciated having, some of you have probably heard kids call me mom or dad or Mima. And this rock, my first year, was given to me at the end of our 8th grade Seattle trip. And I believe, or it was presented to me by Emily and a couple other kids from that group. And I believe that was kind of the catalyst, maybe not catalyst isn't the word, inspiration for the honor of mom, dad, or Mima titles. And so I blame / thank Emily for that starting. And as you can see, I still have the rock. It's made it through like 3 moves since y'all gave it to me our first year in Seattle. And my last little story about Emily was super quickly when I was first introduced to Cracksburger Middle School as the replacement for Mr. K's. I was at an assembly. I was literally booed, which was not a super good start to my teaching career. And at the last assembly at Cracksburger, I don't know how I came up or what happened, but Emily led a big group hug. I don't remember if it was the 8th graders only or if it was the 8th and 7th graders, but they all just got up out of the stands and just mobbed around me and gave me this super uncomfortable hug. And that type of thing is just who Emily is, and that kind of gesture reflects who she is. She saw that a young teacher was struggling and was not always liked by everyone around them, and so gestures like "We love you, mommy" rocks and big group hugs are the type of things that she does, and she does that for all the people around her. So Emily, for all your support over the years and for everything you've done for the band family, we thank you and appreciate you, and stay in touch. Emily Lind. Eric Hansen, CCC, and then transfer to university, undecided major, trying not to end up a bum. Aren't we all, young man? Some of his favorite memories are throwing CDs around the band room with Paulo in 8th grade, especially when it almost hit me in the face a few times. I remember that. You should have let us throw around the CDs in high school. No. Also, getting kicked out for laughing all the time was funny. It's true, believe it or not. Eric and Paulo both were kicked out over and over in 8th grade because they'd get giggle attacks and then not be able to control themselves. Anyway, his favorite memory from high school band was his freshman year when I went on that roller coaster with you and I screamed, "I like roller coasters." While I screamed, I kept my eyes open. And the story behind that is I had never been on a roller coaster with a loop-de-loop and kept my eyes open. I think I closed it the only time I ever went through. And then Eric, I believe, was just having to come apart in line. And so we bonded over both not looking forward to going on that ride. I think we sat together and we survived it. So Eric, you liked roller coasters and I kept my eyes open. So props for that. Eric Hansen, earlier you saw the clarinet sectional. That's a reflection of who he is, taking it on his own, taking initiative to make the band and his section better. He's been doing that for years. Nobody asked him to. That came out wrong. Nobody expected him to, and I didn't specifically ask him to do that. He did that because he knew that it should be done, and I'm glad that he did that. His leadership was also shown in helping younger players, even if it's just with assignments. He would often come up to me and say, "Hey, can we have a clarinet meeting in the hallway? Can I talk to the section real quick in the hallway?" Never had any idea what was going on. I hope everything was okay. But whatever was happening was Eric taking initiative and making the group better, and that's just the guy that he is. Speaking of taking initiative, in 8th grade, when he would get giggle attacks, it got to the point where he would leave on his own. And again, I wouldn't even have to ask him to leave. He would just walk out on his own because he knew that that's what he needed to do. I remember in 8th grade bonding over August Burns Red, which is a Christian metal band. And I was so pumped that I had a kid who liked August Burns Red as well. And so we vibed with that. And then a couple years later, I meet a young woman named Sequoia, and she also likes August Burns Red. In fact, they both did August Burns Red for a choose your own song listening assignment. And I said, "Hey, you should go see this guy. He likes August Burns Red too." I'm not going to take credit for that relationship, but I will say that I called that years ago. Anyway, just saying. Me and Eric have been lucky enough to work on music theory together. I was lucky enough to have him as a TA at the middle school. Awesome with little kids. And the last funny story is, and apparently colorful language is a theme of this entire, not performance, but slideshow. Eric is, I'm usually very good with not swearing around students, I promise, but Eric is the one kid, and I think it's because he's just mature and I get too relaxed around him, but he has heard me swear more than any other kid, and in any kid I've known ever, and they just pop out, and I think, Eric, that is a compliment for you. I'm looking at his picture right now as if he's hearing me, but you're smiling, so you're receiving this well. I think it's just a sign of how much I liked you and trusted you. So Eric, I appreciate you for that. And finally, for dedication, leadership, and musicality in band, it is my honor to present a picture of a trophy of the John Philip Sousa Award. This is a national award that's given out to one senior every year across the entire country. So Eric Hansen, the winner of the John Philip Sousa Award. Thank you.
Woo! Woo!
Thank you, Eric. Hayden Pugh. He plans to attend the Mount Hood Community College to major in environmental science. His favorite band memory was sophomore year when we were at the end of the year party and Slater decided all on his own and with no one else around to reach into the pond at Bullwinkle's and grab out golf balls. I remember that. He took a lot of them, and I'm not sure how to follow up on that one. Hayden makes me laugh more than almost any other kid. The kids in his section all like him, and they've all looked up to him for years. I am constantly seeing him talking and joking with teachers, which is not something you see high school kids do a ton of, especially consistently and with a wide variety of teachers. If you know Hayden, you know how mature he is, you know how adult he is. That makes sense. Silently a super hard worker. That sounds like a backhanded compliment, but he will, without drawing any attention to himself, just go do business. At the burger stand one year, he didn't sign up for a shift, and I didn't expect him to show up, and then which is fine. I'm not complaining about that, but he showed up, and I thought, okay, usually they're just here to socialize if they don't want to do a shift. But then he worked, and he not only worked, but he did stuff without being asked to. Not only did he do stuff, he chose to grill. He grilled for hours, and it was 95 degrees outside, and he's sitting over a griddle this big. Actually, probably bigger, whatever. And that is, if you know Hayden, especially in a working capacity, that is who he is. He finds a problem, he identifies a problem, and he solves it without taking any credit, without making a big deal about it. He just makes it better, whatever it is. A prime example of that was my first year when he was in 8th grade. I was complaining to the 8th grade band, and again, keep in mind the 8th grade band was not a huge fan of Mr. Arnold at the time. I was complaining because I went to a Blazer game, a playoff game, where they were giving out a shirt and a hat to every chair, and someone stole mine. The next day, again, no name, who it was, no credit was taken for this. I just found the picture on your left, the hat and the shirt from the game. These are the actual swag that were given out at the game, and somebody found them. You can see my Facebook post, which was pretty popular at the time. I was complaining to my band students that someone stole my shirt and hat at the last Blazer game. Apparently someone's mom works for the team. Gotta love my kids. Sometimes in parentheses. But I absolutely appreciated that gesture. It went a really long way that somebody was not only listening to my complaints, but did something about it. And that again is just a huge reflection of who Hayden is. Also, if you need any paint, he works in the Home Depot paint section, and he is your guy for paint. So, all right, jokes aside, Hayden, it has been a joy to have you in band, and your work ethic and your dedication to everybody, and your support and the laughs and the conversations we've had and the honest conversations we've had are sincerely appreciated. So thank you very much for that. Hayden Pugh. Just a few more. Callie Obermeyer. Love the tissues. I would have done the same as a kid. Callie, I plan on going to CCC and then transferring to PSU with a degree in graphics design. My favorite memory was Disneyland. Callie was a shy freshman coming in who could clearly play flute, and she worked extremely hard on her own. One of the most diligent students in rehearsals. I don't think the back of her chair ever touched, her back ever touched the back of the chair. It was always perfect posture every single time. She eventually was accepted through her hard work, was eventually accepted into honor groups and getting solos. And now, previously that shy young woman, she's grown up into a young woman who speaks her mind whenever she feels necessary. And this is a good thing. She has a wonderful sense of humor. We've laughed together. She's very understanding when I accidentally call her Kylie. And she's very supportive of the whole program and the kind of militant culture of working and developing for success. And she absolutely has bought into that and enforced those around her and expected them to be the same way. She's very friendly, and she's a funny member of the band that I have been lucky enough to have in my program for, I believe, 4 years now. So Callie, I wish I could say more. I just have really been lucky to have a kid like you, and have you transfer. And I keep looking at the pictures of them when I'm doing the closing statements. I think it's helping. So, Callie, thank you for everything you've done for the program, and I wish you the best. And come say hi, and don't be a stranger. Anyway, Callie Obermeyer. Got through the whole thing without calling her Kylie. Now the true test is, can I get through the whole thing with Kylie without calling her Callie? Let's find out. Kylie Cupper plans on attending Lynn Benton Community College in Albany. A good story about Kylie. She wanted to join band in 8th grade, so this was my first year, and this is, everybody else has had 2 years of prior experience. And as a young teacher, I had no idea what to do. So I gave her a flute, and I sent her in the practice room, and I said, learn this book. Obviously, that is not the appropriate way to teach someone how to play an instrument when they're 2 years behind, but that's all I knew how to do. Honestly, didn't have a ton of faith. And despite my not good teaching, she worked extremely hard and is quietly a bomb flute player. She's been in all-state. She's been in the district honor band. She has earned solos for years. She went and performed in the solo festival. She is so friendly and so funny. She will dish. You should try it sometime if you haven't talked to her. She will spill the tea, as the youth are saying. I appreciate her patience with my terrible humor, with calling her Callie, and her patience with me leaving her to her own to learn flute. And real talk, I did not teach her how to play flute at all. She learned how to play flute 100% from Kylie. And that's not a lot of kids can. Well, I'm sure the flute players disagree, but I mean, Kylie really did not learn anything from me. The tons of success that she's had has been because of her strength and her independence and her work ethic. So remember that, Kylie, going forward in your life, and I'm very proud of you. Kylie Cupper. Paulo Chavarin Chavez. Paulo plans to attend CCC and eventually earn a degree in music education. His fave band memories are playing Wipeout and me being annoyed, because they play it all the time, and CD throwing with Eric, and I don't know Spanish. He said I could exclude the story about not knowing Spanish, but I will do it anyway. First day of teaching, and I'm taking attendance, and him and Eric tell me that his name is actually Pablo and that it's a typo, and then they mess with me for the rest of the year, and I still periodically call him Pablo. And then very recently not very recently, but pretty early into my teaching, I needed to say something in Spanish. I don't remember why, and I foolishly looked right at Paulo and said, how do you say this in Spanish? Which is a no-no. One does not assume that a student speaks Spanish because of the way they look. And he completely deadpan says, I don't speak Spanish. So inner terror, as I realize I've just, embarrassed this kid and also made myself look terrible. And of course, again, he was just messing with me. But I learned not to assume such things. So now I ask, does anyone speak Spanish? And I stare at the ceiling so I don't make eye contact with anybody else. So thank you, Paulo, for understanding for my woes and also holding me accountable in funny and humorous ways. So my little spiel about Paulo. I adore this kid. I'm looking forward to the day he gets to lead a group of kids in any capacity, because they will be lucky to have him. Most of you don't know, he led most of the rehearsals every day when I was out for the past 2 years. So I would, if I was sick, I would send in a lesson plan, and it was Paulo execute the entire thing. If another teacher came in, they would just take attendance, and Paulo ran literally the entire rehearsal. And that's a lot, especially without warning, which was often. He's been a TA of mine for, I think, 5 terms now. I think he started last year, or maybe it was just all this year. But he's fantastic with the younger kids. They love him. They love calling him Pablo. Actually, little piece of irony, they called him Pablo so many times that he got annoyed by it. I think that's a little bit of what's it called, karma coming around, but I digress. I loved going down to Eugene with him. Had a good time with that. He taught me cool guy handshakes. Everybody has to help me stay hip and relevant. Analyzing the lyrics of Lil Wayne songs. I still have an email from him where he was explaining real G's move in silence like lasagna. So that was an impressive analysis by him. He is a hilarious young man who leaves a lasting impression on everyone he meets. For this and more, the Louis Armstrong Award goes to Mr. Paulo Chavarin Chavez for his participation in jazz band and really band as a whole over the years. Let's give him a hand for the award. He is resilient, he's caring, and I wish I could better articulate how proud I am of this young man, Paulo Chavarin Chavez. Thanks, buddy. Okay. Last 2, y'all. Last 2. Here we go. Rachel Powell has joined the United States Marine Corps and will deploy in October. She will be enjoying her freedom until then. After the Marines, she will be attending college. Her favorite band experience was Disneyland both times she went. She said the thing with JetBlue was exciting. The thing with JetBlue is, and I can kind of dish here a little bit, the contract that we sent JetBlue was take us from Portland to Long Beach, and then Long Beach to Portland. When they sent it back to us, they flipped those, And neither me nor Mr. Weir nor Mrs. Baker caught that. And we all reviewed the contract separately, and none of us caught that. So we found out 2 days before the trip happened that we had a flight scheduled backwards. So lots of tears and come aparts and begging and plan B and C and D and E. We ended up taking, I believe, 5 different flights down over a period of something like 15 hours. I think it was Colin who had to ride. We had one person fly a plane completely on their own. So we put a chaperone, one person. Anyway, so we were sleeping in airports, sleeping on lawns. It was great. But thank you, Rachel, for your patience with that. Anyway, back to this. What a sweet kid Rachel is. She jumped back into band in 8th grade after not taking 7th grade band, which is just kind of naturally going to put you behind a little bit. But she stuck with it, and she became an important part of our family for a variety of reasons. Every year, I see her befriend more people around her. Basically, anyone who ends up sitting next to her is going to be friends with Rachel. I'm sure the flutes can agree with me that if you're sitting next to Rachel, y'all are probably talking and laughing about something and having a good time. She has had some tough times, but made the most out of it and is now stronger for it. I remember state a few years ago. We did a sight reading room, and the judge did the worst possible thing he could have for Rachel at the time and pointed right at her and said, "You." He was going to ask her some sort of question that she would have easily been able to answer, but the pressure was so much she just immediately started laughing and bawling. And the judge looks at me with this panicked look. I laugh because it's like you pick the one kid you can't do that to. But now we see that she has grown into a member of the United States Marine Corps. I mean that is a huge drastic change in who this person is. What a switch, I wrote. I'm so excited to see what Rachel does with the rest of her life, and I really hope she stays in touch and keeps us updated on what she's doing with her life. Rachel, I've really enjoyed seeing you grow into the young woman that you are now, and excuse me, I'm proud of you, young lady. Thank you, Rachel Powell. Last but not least, Zoe McCarty. She says, when things settle down more, I plan on moving to California to partake in a certificate program at Millennium Dance Complex. Her favorite band memory has got to be going to Disneyland and talking in weird accents the whole time with my girlies. Maybe mention how I didn't like you at first, bah ha 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 ha, but now we're very cool. It is super real, accurate that Zoe did not, what did I write? She's right, Zoe straight hated me in 8th grade, and she really did. Mr. K's was replaced with some clean-shaven 24-year-old, and that was not okay in Zoe's book. I remember one time, and she was our only trumpet player, again, 12 kids, and I was really trying to be encouraging. I really wanted her to stick with trumpet because she was so good at it, and I really wanted her to like being in band. And I said, "You are just such a really good trumpet player." And she snapped back immediately, "Yeah, it's because I had Mr. K's as a band teacher." And I was like, that is what I get for trying to pay Zoe a compliment. But by the end of the year, she was inviting me to make Musical.ly videos with her. If you don't know, she has like hundreds of thousands of followers on these little like dance music apps, TikTok. I don't know. I know TikTok's the thing now. I'm sure she's popular on that now as well. But basically the past 5 years, I every couple months am partaking in her little dance videos, or I sit in the back and look judgingly. I don't know, but she's included me in all those. She always wants to chat about something, or she has an update in life that she wants to let me know about, or a funny joke or something silly or a new dance or something that I need to know. I don't know, but I've always enjoyed those little, it's just 45 seconds, but it's still a kid going out of their way to include me, and that's a nice thing to be a part of. She's friendly and funny. She holds herself to a really high standard and wants to be the best. She really does expect that whatever she does, that she's the best at it, and that's an honorable quality for a young person to have. I'm glad, Zoe, that you came around with Mr. Arnold and that you stuck with band because it's been an absolute joy to have you in my class these past 5 years, and you will be missed. One round of applause, please, for Zoe McCarty. Last two things for me to say. Seniors, I really wish we could have ended our time together in a more normal way, potentially with a state championship. But I'm so proud of your growth over this time. I'm lucky to have had you all in my class, and it is frankly hard to let you go. I appreciate everything you've done for me and for the rest of the band family. You will be missed, and I love you all. Seniors of Band 2020. And finally, the message to everybody. I will post this on Google Classroom and send via email. So proud of the band this year for their work in school and at home. I'm looking forward to getting back to the classroom and making beautiful music. We have over 40 kids in both bands. We have Disneyland, hopefully next year. We have trips to state, hopefully next year. And I'm excited to continue making memories with all of you. Thank you so much for coming to our stream. I appreciate all the reaching out and all the kind words and everything, and I hope that we've done justice by our seniors before sending them off on their way. Yeah, I think that's all I have, babe. I love you all. Goodbye. That's what I got. Have a great summer. Yay!